Generally, I look forward to making this video every month. If you follow my channel, you know that I do a monthly budget video every single month, and I keep it 100% transparent. Hey, good morning. And this month, I've dreaded it because I knew I went way over my budget. But, you know, I bought a ADV 160 this month, all kind of accessories, and I went ahead and I knew that I was going to blow my budget this month. And if you've ever ran any kind of department or anything like that, or your own business, sometimes when you blow the budget, it's best just to go ahead and blow it all the way. so that way the next month at least feels a little better. And if you guys will stay to the end, I got a number of what I have spent in total for my first 6 months in the Philippines, counting the flight leaving the United States until present time. Well, actually, till yesterday's time. And I want to go out here to the beach. We had an earthquake last night, man. First earthquake I've ever experienced, man. It was, it shook this pool. The water was splashing all in and out of it, man. It scared the crap out of me. That was the first one I've ever experienced. Like I said, at first I was sitting on the bed. It was pretty late last night, I guess about 10:30, 11 o'clock, something like that. And the epicenter was in Cebu. I'm in Dumaguete, or in Darwin actually. But I'm just gonna sit out here by the pool, man. It's hot as can be. I don't know. Now I'm going to the ocean. Hold on one second. Anyway, everything's okay in this area. Dumaguete got some flooding because at the same time, or before the earthquake, there was a huge storm, man. There was a lot of thunder, a lot of lightning. But, you know, like I said, this area didn't receive much damage. Cebu got messed up pretty good. I've seen some videos on Facebook. But not, I don't know if there's, you know, any people that got hurt. I'm sure there was, but hopefully not. But anyway, for this monthly budget, and if you've watched any of these before, I've got a playlist of each one of my monthly budgets. I think this is maybe my third one since I've started it. But this one, like I said, stay to the end, and I've got a surprise that I'll tell you exactly what I've spent down to the penny since I left the United States, counting the cost of the flight. I'm not going to go through each expense. I'm just going to tell you the total. And today is actually 6 months and 1 day today. So yesterday was exactly 6 months, and that's where the total cost comes to. And like I said, this month was a little out of my budget, but surprisingly, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. The rent that I pay here for this one bedroom, actually it's a studio apartment, it's not even one bedroom, it's just a bathroom and a room with a bed in it and a TV, which is fine with me, it's all I need. And the rent here is 17,000 Filipino pesos, and that comes, and also when I do these monthly videos, the way that I figure it is whatever the average value of the US dollar was for this entire month. So this month it has swung, basically it's been $58 Filipino pesos per $1 US this month. Like today it's like 58.25. So I just did it all at 58 for an even number, and we'll base the video off of that. So my rent this month was 17,000 Filipino pesos, which comes to $293.10. And I'll put everything right here above my head. In fuel, and this is counting fuel from when I rented the motorbike earlier this month. My bike rental was good until the 28th of this past month, but I'd bought the bike a little bit earlier, but it was already paid for. So this is counting the fuel for that scooter and my new scooter. And I spent 670 Filipino pesos, which come to a total of $11.55 for my total fuel cost for the month. And this is the big one. Transportation. This is ordinarily where I would have put my rental scooter, which I was paying like 5,000 pesos a month. But this month I decided to buy myself a brand new ADV 160, and I'm grateful that I did. I'm ecstatic actually. And I spent, for transportation, I spent 167,000 Filipino pesos, which comes to $2,879.31. My electric bill was close to the same as it was last month, which is very high for the Philippines, but to me it's a small price to pay. I leave my aircon on 24/7. Sometimes I even have the door open, irresponsible or not. It's just the truth of how I'm living. Call it a luxury, whatever you want to call it, because I'm inexpensive on everything else. But for electric, I spent 6,537 Filipino pesos, and that comes to $112.70. And I know some of you guys in America are like, man, that's still cheap. Not really, not for a studio apartment. But, you know, in some places, it's definitely more expensive in the United States. And I am kind of using it, I guess, irresponsibly compared to a lot of my neighbors. Some of them will cut their AC off whenever they leave, things of that nature. And I have a few times, a lot of times I just forget. And you guys can tell me in the comments, but I have a theory on that. Like if I'm gonna be gone for 2 hours, and I decide to cut the air conditioner off, especially in the middle of the day, whenever I cut it back on, the way that I'm thinking, it seems like the aircon is going to have to work a whole lot harder to get it down to the temperature from where it's raised up to in those 2 hours. So I feel like I'm not really saving any energy costs there. Now, I could keep my door shut a whole lot more, and that would probably help more than cutting it off and back on for 2 hours. That's my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments below. But either way, I'm probably going to continue to do it. Not irresponsibly, but the way that I choose to live my retirement. So next on the list is my phone service, and this is me buying load for my smartphone and Globe. And I spent 735 Filipino pesos, which comes to $12.67 to have phone service for the month. Can't beat that. And this was a pretty big expense. A pretty big expense, in my opinion, for this month was groceries. And a lot of people, a lot of expats will tell you that their grocery cost is one of the major expenses here. But to me, it's not bad at all. And we went out to eat a lot. And this is included for April as well, because she's here most days. So this is for 2 people. And granted, I had a lot of groceries left over from the month before, a lot of cleaning supplies, because I've established those things, you know, all your condiments and things like that, salt, pepper, all of that stuff I have, and I didn't have to buy any of that, just basically meat, vegetables, and whatever else I wanted to get. But for groceries, I spent 6,912 Filipino pesos, which comes to $119.17. And to me, man, that's hard to beat. You know, if you guys, any Western country, you're like, holy cow, that's very cheap. You know, that's, in the US, that's probably 3 days, 4 days worth of groceries, if we're 2 people. And so all of these prices you got to keep in mind. Like people say, stay single, and that's fine. You know, I've actually, trust me, I still ponder that in my head. You know, I'm keeping my guard up and you know, being aware. I'm not walking into anything blindly. But to have a girlfriend in the Philippines isn't as expensive as a lot of other people will say, unless you got a bad woman that's, you know, wanting to buy extravagant things. But fortunately for me, April's not like that. She's just the opposite. I have to like kind of push her. Hey, let's go spend. If it was up to her, we'd probably never go out to eat, because she thinks everything's expensive. If something costs 300 pesos, it's expensive to her, which is good for me. But anyway, after groceries, I've got hygiene and cleaning supplies. And I also got, most of this cost is from my own personal razors, because I already had the soap, shampoo, and all that stuff. She's got all her stuff. But I spent 985 Filipino pesos, which comes to a total of $16.98 for cleaning supplies and hygiene products, which in that case, this month was razors only, because I already had everything from the previous month. This one's kind of high this month. Well, not really. Not when I put it in perspective, because I went out to eat a lot this month, and this is for me and April. For restaurants, I spent 7,350 pesos. And that comes to $126.74. That's not bad. $126.74 for a retirement lifestyle, which I love to eat, and I go to many restaurants. A lot of them are the same restaurants, but generally both of us can eat. Like at Lolo's, it's only cost us every time we get a whole spicy chicken. Sometimes we get 4 orders of rice, or sometimes we only get 3. But either way, it's only like 500 or 520 pesos, which is, you know, less than $10. And we do that quite often. And when we go to the pizza place, Frontamar or Frontamir, it's about the same. And whenever we get the mango slushies, it's still under 1,000 pesos. It's still under $20 to do that. So it's not, we don't do it often, but it's nice to do every now and again. I still like to eat at home better, and she does too. We can both cook. We argue over who's gonna cook, which is awesome. And then this is one of the most expensive things that I have, other than buying the motorbike, is gifts and tips. This category is things that that I've given away. You know, I just give for one reason or another. I was always taught, you know, if you're going to give from the heart, and I don't like to brag about it. Like, I felt uncomfortable. If you watched yesterday's video, I bought a kid some slippers, and I put it in the video, and I almost feel bad about it. And I'd like to go back and get him a smaller size, because them look too small, too big. But anyway, that's not what my channel's about. I do kind things, but I would prefer to do them behind the scenes, just because I don't want to embarrass nobody. You know, I grew up kind of poor, and we had some very rough times when I was a kid. And you know how kids are, man. Kids are mean. People are mean. People look down on you when you have less. It's crazy. Like, how when you have money, people give you things for free. Whenever you don't have money, people will complain about, you know, even tipping you. Like for a waitress or a waiter, people complain about a tip or something like that. But I don't know, man. It's just strange. I went out to eat with an owner of a dealership a few times, and when we used to go out to eat, it was crazy. We'd go to these fancy restaurants, and the owner would come out and say, "It's on the house. Glad you guys came in here." But you know, if somebody from the street that couldn't afford food came in there, they'd probably call the cops on them. And it's just a weird way about humanity, you know? It's just strange to me. But anyway, in gifts and tips, I spent 12,760 Filipino pesos, which comes to exactly 220 US dollars, which isn't bad because all of that money did good things. And that's probably, out of everything on this list, that's probably my favorite expense. Makes me feel good. I don't even do it for them people. I do it for myself because it makes me feel good, to be honest with you. And if you guys are honest with yourself, that's why all of us do it. It does help people, and it's good to help people. But at the end of the day, when you get to my age and you get to a point in life that I'm at, if I'm honest, I probably feel better than those people that I help, honestly. It's just me. Tell me what you think. License. I got my driver's license. The expense for my driver's license was this month, and this was for me getting, I actually already had my driver's license, but I had to get approval for my motorcycle endorsements on those licenses, and there's a school involved in that, and that came to 4,600 Filipino pesos, which is $79.31 in USD. And this is, I had to put this on my list, clothes and accessories. And this is where I went a little bit crazy because I knew I had blew my budget. So I went ahead and got a whole bunch of junk. If you guys have been watching the channel, you know that I've been buying a lot of little gadgets online and things like that. I bought my helmet, the shield for my motorbike, and I've got some other things that I've purchased. There's a few things that I haven't paid for yet that are not in this list. It'll go on next month's list. But this is everything that I've received and I've paid for. And so for clothes and accessories for the motorbike, came to 7,293 Filipino pesos, and that is $125.74 USD. And that includes this cool shirt I got. I got this at this store called Tops and Bottoms. I don't know if it's authentic, but I like it. And it only costs like, I think it was like 275 pesos, or maybe 300 pesos. Either way, it's like $5 or $6. Not a bad deal for a nice shirt. But you can find deals like that. I'll have a video on that later, because now I know how to shop like a Filipino. But anyway, next on the list is going to be laundry. It's pretty much close to the same as what I would normally spend, because the owner of the property, every time I use the washer here, I have to pay 100 pesos just for the, I guess, the electrical expense and the wear and tear on the washer, which I don't mind doing. But it's been down, so I've been having to take my laundry to the laundry service. Hey there, Milo. What are you doing, puppy? He come barging out. He must have busted that gate. He did. But anyway, my laundry bill came to 715 pesos, which is $12.32. And last but not least, which was another, it's not a monthly expense, every 2 months, but it's usually not this big, is for immigration. I had to go, this was my 6-month immigration visit. So I have already been here 6 months. And at that mark, once you are in the Philippines for 6 months, you got to pay for a CRTV. I'm not sure what the acronym stands for, but it added additional cost to my immigration fee, which came to 5,270 Filipino pesos, which equals $90.86 USD, which brings my total price for the month for Filipino pesos is 237,827 Filipino pesos, which is the equivalent of $4,100.45 in USD. So it's not bad. If you take away the motorbike, you know, I still, counting the accessories and everything, if you take away the motorbike, I still only spent about $1,300 USD this month outside of that motorbike, because I eliminated the rental fee and then I made up for it on accessories. so it's not that bad. $4,100 for my most expensive month here. And hopefully, let's see what kind of time we got here. Let me look on this clock. Okay. Hopefully you guys have stuck around to the end, and now I'm going to tell you exactly what I have spent the entire time from the moment that I purchased the ticket to the Philippines till yesterday. Drum roll, please. I don't know how to do that on the computer, or I put that in there. I'm sure it's there. Some kind of drum roll, I'm sure is there. But my total expense that I've spent all together, counting flights, immigration, everything until the current date, well, yesterday's date, is $13,540 USD. $13,540 USD. So if you want an idea, like a lot of people will send me emails and they'll say, Joe, what do I need to come over there? What will I, you know, that's what I've spent. It's going to vary for, you know, different people, for different lifestyles. When I came over here, I was drinking a lot more than I do now, but I don't really drink anymore. I drink from time to time, but not that much. I don't spend any money. It's not enough to even, it's included in the restaurant bill, but it's not enough to amount to a lot of money. You know, I've gotten to the age now where if I drink, I drink too much, and when I drink too much, I feel like crap for a couple days, and I would just rather not do that. I feel like I'm in decent shape for my age, and I want to stay that way, and I feel like it affects me negatively, so that's why I have swayed away from it. Not because of any other reason than it's just not as fun as it used to be. Milo. So for a lot of you guys have sent me emails, and I've seen in the comments a bunch of times, people ask me a lot of finance questions about what they would need to come over here. And you can use this number as, I guess, a guideline. But you know, that's for 6 months, or 6 months, and that's also including me buying a scooter. So if you're wanting to take the same path as me, you know, to be on the safe side, if you was going to be here for a year, or you know, I guess 26,000 would be a good base to judge what you would need if you continue to do what I did. Well, minus the scooter, if you take away 3,000, so maybe 23,000 a year. You add that up for however long, and you know, that would be, I guess, a safe number to go off of. Not real sure. I think mine's going to get a whole lot cheaper, honestly, because I do everything that I want and it's very inexpensive. I enjoy the life that I have. Now I have, you know, company, you know, for as long as that lasts, hopefully. You know, I don't know. Like I said, you know, I've always got my radar up. I'm not gonna do anything I don't want to do or that isn't in my best interest. But for now, everything's great, and I'm enjoying myself, and I have no complaints, and it's very inexpensive to do so. So, like, subscribe, do all that stuff. But for now, I'm out.